Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. How are you this morning? Pray that you are well. It's a good day for you. It is chilly all over, as we come up on Halloween Eve today, which was traditionally known as the time in which summer goes to bed. Like that was I kind of love that, the idea, that phrase. Hey, good morning, Yvette. How are you? Doing great. Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. Hope everybody's doing good this morning, on this Thursday. All right. Hey, Karen, good morning to you. Good morning, good morning. All right, friends, let's get going this morning. It is the 30th day of October on this Thursday at 11:11, and I'm glad you're a part of the journey. We are coming up to Halloween, this much contested and questioned holiday about what are we supposed to do about Halloween. There is so much misinformation out there, and even right down to even the officialdom. It's so fascinating to me about how this whole conversation around this holiday has progressed. And so my hope is today is I want to give you a little bit of my take on it, and also I want to give you a little bit of encouragement in what we're really and how we can really engage this kind of this little dark time. Um, so Halloween is the holiday itself. It kind of takes its name from All Hallows Eve, which is the traditional celebration on the 1st of November of the of All Saints Day, which was the day set up in the 8th century. So we're talking, all right, we're talking like 744. Okay, we're talking way, way, way back. Pope Gregory the III said that on this day there would be the celebration of the saints and martyrs. So it became this holiday. It ends up turning into a 3-day holiday. May go into a bit of that, but simply that Pope Gregory, okay, Pope in 744, so long time ago, sets this date as the time of the holiday for the celebration, and he sets and in fact, if you've ever been to St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, there is a chapel there that is dedicated for that observance and the observance of Halloween itself. Like, okay, so because the first thing we have to do is talk about time, because for the ancients and for Pope Gregory, if you were talking about a holy day, the holy day began at sundown on the day before. For us, the day kind of begins at midnight, we moderns. But for Pope Gregory, when he was setting up the holiday, it began on sundown the day prior. So that All Saints Day officially begins at sundown on the 31st, and then would go into the first and as a celebration, and then all all uh, All Souls Day would take place on the day prior. So when we talk about the celebration of Halloween, we're talking about the celebration of All Saints' Day, this celebration of all of those who have gone before us in death. We as a part of the church militant, and they as a part of the church triumphant. And all of those whom loved us and whom we have loved that in that time. So now this is where it gets fun. If you read, and you can go, and this is deep in modern kind of cultural lore in terms of how people kind of think about this. Now there is this belief that this was a reaction to the celebration of the Irish festival called Samhain, which is this festival that is kind of a harvest festival, one of the 4 pagan festivals that seem to be mapped out somewhere in there. The problem is Pope Gregory. Where's St. Peter's Basilica? Rome, right? Where are the Irish? Well, they're in Ireland. Okay, and granted, I get the Celtic world and the Celtic calendar goes all the way across, all the way to Turkey. Got it. But the notion that he is thinking about this Irish festival as a result to this timeline, it doesn't make sense. And in fact, some of the greatest but you go to the Library of Congress and you read the history of Halloween, you will read that it is this traditional pagan, that it is this Christianization of this traditional pagan celebration that's going on, that is going on, that somehow just put a little Christian frosting across the top of this pagan festival. That's not what happened. It's not what happened in any way, manner, shape, or form. It doesn't. And in fact, one of the probably the greatest modern historian of medieval literature, a guy by the name, you might have heard him, a guy by the name of J.R.R. Tolkien. The reason Tolkien can write the Lord of the Rings series and all of that and get dwarves and elves and all those sorts of things and this deep fantasy is because he is singularly one of the most versed humans on the planet in medieval understanding and medieval lore, him and his buddy C.S. Lewis. And this is what he said, what Tolkien said, and Tolkien would ask some of his peers. He says, "What do you know about Druidism?" And he said, "Well, not much." And he says, "Exactly." And his quote was, "Druidism is a great big magic bag." So that you could kind of reach it, so that and what happened in modernism, as we were coming up to modernism and this syncretistic movement, there was this book written in the 1890s called The Golden Bough. Now the Golden Bough takes this universalistic, this syncretistic worldview and says that everybody is all kind of doing the same thing and they're all pointed in the same way and they're all kind of drinking out of the same fountain, and that all of these movements are kind of the same, and that this is sprinkled on top of that. And when the Golden Bough was written, there were scholars that were already saying, "You're playing a little fast and loose with the truth." As people have looked at the Golden Bough over time, they've realized the book was absolute and complete and utter fiction. And yet, it's actually one of the books, probably never heard of it, that actually shapes our modern celebrations around and kind of understanding, and how you get the Library of Congress saying, that a 8th century pope was reacting to Irish Celtic mystical practices. No. The church wanted to set up the celebration of the saints and the martyrs. Now, before that, it had been in May, and it was Gregory that set it up in this time. So and now there are people who are going to hate this and this sort of stuff. But the thing is that what we get out of these are the practices that we end up celebrating in Halloween. Now, this may be boring you to tears today. I'm sorry, but it's one of the things. It drives me. It's like this every time this time of year. It's like walking with a rock in my shoe, because I've literally seen people walk away from faith, or literally seen people walk away from church. I've seen this happen because of a church choosing to have a Halloween party. And this is, and that in fact Halloween is, always has been, and always will be a Christian festival and Christian tradition. And in fact, all of the things that we find in Halloween come out of Christian stories. In fact, the very stories that we're talking about, Samhain, you know who wrote those? Christian monks. Christian monks in the 11th century wrote down the cycle of Ulster, wrote down all of the different traditions that wrote down all these different pagan lores that were supposedly out there talking about Samhain. All of it has come through the church and through this thing. And so what then are we to make of these practices? So the reason the church started dressing up, it wasn't because they were doing a mummers dance. The reason the church started dressing up at Halloween was on the night before was to mock the devils and the ghosts of lore. That, you know, when you dress up as something, when you fake and dress up as something, it is not the notion of the imitation is the better part of is flattery, because you're not imitating them, you're just dressing up as them. Okay, when we dress up as things, what we're actually often doing is we're making fun of them. And that is what when we talk about people dressing up as a werewolf, people dressing up as a vampire, people dressing up as all these different things. It is to dressing up as devils and demons. It is to mock the idea that they have any power over them. That, oh look, I'm a devil. Oh look, I'm a demon. Boo, boo, spooky, scary. Ooh. You know, this crazy notion, and that is the heart of what, you know, what we did trunk or treat up at Durfee this year. We'll keep the festival, you know, not because it's cultural, or not because we want to worship the demons, or not because we want to. It is because we hold this truth that all of that. And I'm not saying there aren't Satanists out there worshiping Satan and doing really bad things. There aren't real occultists doing real occult things. But that those practices and those things did not come through Halloween. Okay? And when you listen to Satanists say, oh, be real scared of Halloween, it's because they're Satanists, okay? And they're, you know, they might have their thumb on the scale. This practice of this holiday, where we dress up, where we bob for apples, where we do those things, are these where, and even sometimes when mischief is made, this whole practice was born out of the church. It continues to dwell within the church, and it continues to declare this simple and great reality that Christ is King, that God is in his heaven and all is right with the world. And yes, there may be little devils running around, but they don't have power over you. Yes, there may be little demons nibbling at your heels, but they don't have authority over the one who made you, and that you need but say his name, and they will run screaming from the hills. That you can dare even dress as they dress, and that nothing bad's, they're not going to get you, because all majesty, power, and victory has happened from Christ over death. And so, as we get ready to go celebrate Halloween, have some fun. See some cute kids come up and give them some candy, and enjoy the practice of that was actually a medieval practice of soul caking and that trick-or-treating. And what it was the poor would go around to more wealthy neighbors, and that the more wealthy neighbors would often give them what was called a soul cake, which is this little cookie, and sometimes inside the cookie there'd be a coin as a way of providing for the poor, and that the only ask was that you pray for the departed, both the departed of their family and the departed of the family of those who were giving the soul cakes. That was the original origin of trick or treating. It was a prayer practice. Trick or treating was a practice of prayer. Okay, that this is how insane we've become around it, and I get we've modernized this, we've secularized it, we've all of these things, and that doesn't mean they're all good, but as the great Len Sweet always says, the world steals our best lines because we don't know that we have them. This is our holiday, and I refuse to give up any ground on it, and I hope you refuse to as well, because good Lord, the devil does not have that kind of power. Good Lord, the demons and the demons and the creepy crawlies have nothing on us, and that we need to just stop giving them that kind of power and authority and influence in our lives in such a way that we think that somehow going out and getting a couple Snickers bars is somehow going to turn our hearts to Satan. Like, it's ridiculous. We are in fact held in the palm of God's hand. We are in fact invited to the table of the Most High. We are in fact, and this is the thing, and what all souls and all saints are all about is it's not just us. It's not just us now, but it is the grand communion of saints of all that have gone before us. That Christ went down into the depths of hell to release those who are in prison, that all are free, that all come to his table, that all may know him as Lord and Savior, and know love and joy and compassion in it. That this is the foundation of this holiday, and that we don't need to sweat it. We don't need to worry. We don't need to get all fired up. It is one of my great criticisms of our evangelical brothers and sisters who created this kind of agita, that I in many ways think it's a distraction from the real evils of our lives, from the real evils of our work, from the real repentance that both we can do in our own lives, but also the real repentance that we can that the world needs, and the real fighting of the real devils and those who would hurt others, and those who would do violence, and those who would corrupt our life together. But those things aren't coming out on Halloween. Halloween is a time where God declares there is no devil so great that once the whisper of the words of a single angel would send them running back into the depths of hell. Peace and grace to you all, my friends, and I hope you have a great Halloween. We will pick it up. This Sunday, we are celebrating All Saints. Bring the names of your beloved. We will have candles to light. We will have bells to ring, that we might say the names of those who have gone before us and declare them before God. That we will immediately, and following that, we'll have communion as a part of coming to the Lord's table, and knowing that we come to the Lord's table not just alone, but with all those who have gone before us. And that immediately following, you'll be invited to the garden, where we have 3 new bricks to add to our memorial garden, and we will declare the names of those those saints who have been a part of the life of the church and our lives, and to memorialize them there. It's going to be a good Sunday. Sometimes it's a heavy Sunday, but it is good and rich and wonderful. Peace and grace to you all, my friends, and we'll pick it up next week with another 11:11.